Bam. All right. So the title of today's discussion is nothing means anything until you decide what it means about you. And before I move forward, I'm going to double check if YouTube is working this time. If it's not, we'll just do this one later on this afternoon. There must be a sign. Well, it's working. All right. So the title of today's discussion is nothing means anything until you decide what it means about until you decide what it actually means about you. All right. The about you is the most important part of the situation. So we're going to talk about this loop that happens. Most people will walk through life. A situation shows up. Let's say you don't get a text back. Doesn't mean anything. It's just silence. That's just what it means. All it means is you didn't get a text back. But now you place meaning on it. You say, this must mean this. They're doing this. And now you use that to assign meaning to you. It means that I am unchosen. It means that I have to settle for something less. It means that I cannot have the reality that I desire. It means that I am not divine enough. It means that I am not doing something enough, right? So now, because this one situation has came into our life, we base our identity on it, and now we move through reality with this identity. Okay, so this is a building off of yesterday's discussion. Yesterday's discussion was about how we should make it about us. Give you an example. Making it about you is the difference. And first of all, what I'm referring to is in the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, there is a free Discord. It's live. It's beautiful. It's live as fuck, right? If you go to the link in the bio, in any of the social medias, the link tree, you'll be able to open up the Discord link. You'll be able to join. We have game nights, debate nights. We do lectures in there. We have voice conversations. We have different rooms. We have all kinds of things, okay? And so please join that. And also, if you want any kind of coaching, there's a Calendly link in the bio. And you can always sign up for one-on-one coaching as well, okay? So what we're actually doing is we're doing two challenges. The first challenge is a 7-day. The first challenge that we did last week was a 7-day challenge. It was called the Presence Challenge. The only point of it was to be present. Today, or yesterday, we started a 7-day Make It About You challenge. Let me give you an example. Feel the energetic difference in me saying, the specific person loves me. My specific person loves me versus saying I am loved, therefore the specific person must love me. The difference energetically is identity relocation. So in the first, when I say that person loves me, I'm making them the core of that affirmation, declaration of that identity. So now if I'm saying this person loves me, I'm constantly measuring myself based on them. But if I say something like, I am love, so therefore they must flow to me, they're just one aspect of love within infinite. So of course they'll show up. But the truth is that I just am love. I just am love. So now my stability is not based on what I see. So when I'm constantly basing my core identity on what I see out there, if they don't show up, well, or if it doesn't look a certain way, I'm constantly judging myself. Saying I'm not doing it right. You know, am I divine enough? What's going on? But when I make it about me, the truth is self-referencing. It's only about me. So we're going to build on this point today. Okay? Two quotes that we're going to talk about. Quote number 1, nothing has meaning until you decide what it means about you. The about you is important. And number 2, the question is never what happened. The question is, what did I make this mean about me? All right? So we got a couple of diagrams in this one too. A couple pretty pictures. I know some of y'all are visual learners. I got pretty pictures for you, right? So you can always hop over to YouTube and see them. Of course, I know y'all been asking. I'm not sharing the documents anymore. I'll start sharing them again sometime in the future, perhaps, maybe, 30% chance. But right now I'm using them to finish up a book. So I want to keep them to myself. Okay? So let's get into it. The invisible mechanism running your life. You think that you're reacting to reality, but you're not. You're reacting to the meaning you assign to it. The text didn't hurt you. The text didn't show up in the pixels on your phone did not slap you. The silence didn't hurt you. The silence did not punch you. The delay, the quote unquote delay, didn't hurt you either. What actually hurt you was what you made it mean. Let's give an example. He hasn't responded. That's all it means. All it meant is that they haven't responded. But what does it become? It becomes, I'm not important. What did you make it mean about you? She pulled away. What does that become? It becomes, I'm not chosen. So you see how it goes down. It's an event happens that means nothing. It was silent. Now you say, they haven't responded. I'm not important. She pulled away. I'm not chosen. You're choosing to take a neutral event and now you're making it about you. We're going to go further into this. All right. Or we'll see nothing has changed yet, which is impossible because everything is changing. Every cell in your body is changing at every moment. The stars are changing in every moment. But we'll say nothing has changed yet, and that all of a sudden becomes what? It's not working. But let's stop. Where does the meaning for any event come from? The meaning for any event does not actually come from the event, right? No, it never comes from the event. Where does it come from? From you. So here's the first quote, and this is the reflection that I put in the Discord. We'll talk about this, and then we'll go deeper into it. You're not reacting to reality. You're reacting to the story you told yourself about you. You're never reacting to reality, to anything out there. You're using reality to react to a story that you've told about yourself. Let's go. All right. You're not reacting to reality. When something happens, your mind doesn't just objectively observe it. It immediately interprets it through an identity. It asks, what does this say about me? And in that instant, a meaning is assigned. A neutral event becomes personal. A silence becomes rejection. A delay becomes unworthiness. And before you even realize it, you're no longer even experiencing what happened. What are you actually experiencing? You're experiencing the version of yourself you just created in response to it. So now, text comes. Text doesn't come, right? The text doesn't show up. It means nothing. It means nothing. That's all it means. All it means is that there's no text right now. But instead of taking that for what it is and moving on, we look at that and we say, damn, they're abandoning me. Damn, they're pulling back. Damn. And then we go further and we make it about us. We say, damn, I'm not chosen. Then we go even further. Damn, I must not be doing it right. Then we go further. Damn, am I being God enough? Eventually, that moment has passed. The situation has passed. We're not even experiencing the situation anymore. We're experiencing the version of ourselves that we just created in response to the situation. Let's go further. But if the story is what shapes your reaction, then the power was never in the event. You know that. The power was always in you. The shift isn't about controlling anything. It is in becoming aware of the meaning that you are assigning, not to the thing, to yourself through it. Yeah, make it about you, right? So this is in alignment with the Make It About You challenge that we're doing in the Discord. The shift is not about controlling anything. There's nothing to control. Not out there. It's becoming aware of the meaning that you are assigning to yourself through it. Because the purpose of consciousness is to be aware. Let me break this down, okay? And we broke it down yesterday, but let's say it in a different way. Awareness is just aware. If you ask most people, who are you? They'll say, well, I'm Alex. I'm a son. I do this. This is how I make money. Yada, yada, yada. Okay? But you're much more than that. You are pure awareness. When I say aware, what does that mean? I just am. I exist. I'm aware. How far does awareness stretch? Is awareness confined to this body? If it was confined to this body, how could you be aware of this bottle of water in front of you? So awareness stretch. How far does it stretch? Does it stretch just in the physical world? No. It stretches through all time. You can pull up scenes from the past, from something that doesn't even exist, right? All these things exist within your awareness. So awareness is infinite. But now your awareness wants to experience an individualized perspective of itself. This is a concession. It's a concession. We just say this to make sense so we can tell the story of our humanity. So now you are born. And the purpose of your awareness is to be aware of yourself. So you think that you're aware of that text message. But what you're actually aware of is the story that you're telling about yourself through the text message. You're not just telling a story about the text message. You don't just stop there. You don't just say, well, it means I'm in no context still. You go further. You say, it must mean I'm not doing something right. It must mean she doesn't love me. It must mean she found a bigger, stronger man than me. It must mean he has more money than me. You make it about you. So consciousness is always being aware of itself. Awareness is being aware of itself through you. We just tend to use things to outsource it, right? We use our thoughts, we use our emotions, we use our circumstances to outsource our identity. Now we begin to look at ourselves through these things outside of us. Cold world. Let's go further, okay? When you stop unconsciously making everything mean something negative about you, and instead decide from who you truly are from the start, beforehand, in the beginning. So instead of me going through the situation and then the text does not come and I say, it means this. Why don't I just right now decide who I am? I'm always chosen. I just am love. So now I can actually perceive this situation through the lens of I am love. Okay? Everything changes because you're no longer living inside a story that diminishes you. You return to authorship as the center of reality, and now every moment becomes an opportunity to reinforce the truth of who you choose to be. Right, now let's get into this. Here's an example. First, we're going to do the money situation. All right. So here's the event that happens. You check your account and you see less money than you expected. Or an unexpected expense happens, an unexpected expense hits, or a payment hasn't come in yet, right? That's it. That is the entire reality right there, right? Unexpected payment, unexpected bill, the money ain't as high as you think it should be. That's it. There is no meaning. There is no story. There is no identity. There are just numbers on a screen or numbers on a paper. That's all that reality is right now. Now, let's go forward. The mind steps in and immediately assigns meaning. It says, fuck, I'm broke. So, now, I never have enough. It says, why does this always happen to me? If it ain't one thing, it's a fucking another. It says, I'm behind. I'm not where I should be, which is another trap. That's a tricky trap. I'm not where I should be. According to who? And according to what? According to me. Now, it's according to what you deem is acceptable based on what you've been fed by society and other people. Right? But now we start making all these stories. I want you to pause when we start making those stories. Right? None of these stories actually come from the numbers. The numbers are literally numbers on a screen. They're literally just numbers on a paper. But the story, the story, it comes from what you made the numbers mean about you. So you immediately saw these numbers on a paper, 63. That's all it meant was 63. And you looked at it and you assigned meaning to yourself. Because of 63, think about how ridiculous that is. Because of 63, I'm never enough. Okay, now, what happens next? Because of the meaning that you assigned on that thing, you become the one who is struggling. You take on the identity right now as the one who is struggling, the one who is behind, the one who is trying to fix money. And now everything filters through that identity. Everything begins to filter. Your thoughts and emotions begin to filter through the identity of I'm not enough, I'm behind, I need to do more. So now you feel stressed. Now you feel pressure. Now you feel scarcity. Now you feel urgency. Now you feel need and lack, and I need to climb. I need to strive. And now you might start doing what? You might start, quote unquote, overthinking. The mythical word that we like to say, overthinking. We might start to panic about bills. We might start to avoid looking at our accounts. We might start making rush decisions, all because of a number. And now what happens, because you're in that identity, life begins to reflect that state because you stepped into it. You are now the identity of I am someone who doesn't have enough because of numbers on a screen. It's an easy trap to fall into. But let's look at version 2. Version 2, okay? Same exact event. Same exact event. You check your account and you see less money than expected, unexpected expense hits, whatever. You look at the bill and it says 67. Or maybe it says 6,700. Or maybe it says 67,000. Maybe. Okay? But this time you choose. You choose to remember who you are. You say, you know what? I'm someone who always has more than enough. I just am prosperity. Things just always take care of themselves and the money always flows to me because I'm just prosperity. Money flows to me in unexpected ways. I always land on my feet financially somehow. I am supported by the infinite. Now ask, okay, what does the same situation mean now? What does the same situation mean now? Now you look at that number and you say, it's just numbers. You say, this is a temporary moment. This is temporary movement. This money, it's just circulating. It's not disappearing. It's just circulating. Something else is already aligning. I've handled bigger than this. Guess I got to get used to this because I'm be handling bigger numbers. Right? Now, what actually happens next? You've told that right story. You've stepped into the right identity. You actually become the one who is supported, the one who is resourceful, the one who is stable. And now everything flows downstream from there. You might feel more calm. You might feel more grounded, more clear, just more stable. Right? And now even the thoughts begin to flow differently from that identity of I am the prosperity of God. Prosperity is my birthright, right? You might even start thinking, okay, well, what is the smartest next move? What opportunities are here? You might not even think like that. You might just say, well, it's handled. Somehow, some way it's going to get handled. I don't need to worry about the ways of God. It's beyond me. I'm just going to chill. So you don't shrink. You simply stay yourself. Same reality, different financial experience. The numbers didn't define you. They never did. The numbers didn't define you. You defined what the numbers meant, and that meaning created your experience with it. Does that make sense? Okay, let's go a little bit further. Let's do the specific person example. Now, some of y'all have been drooling waiting for this one, okay? So here's the event. Your SP doesn't reply for 5 hours. They said they were going to their parents' house. They didn't reply for 5 hours. I know. They might have taken a detour for the 3P. Who knows what they did, right? The point is, right now in this moment, they just didn't reply for 5 hours. That's it. That is all that happened, is they didn't reply for 5 hours. I don't think I am on Instagram. Okay, now you boy is. Appreciate you. All right, so that's all. They didn't reply for 5 hours. Okay, so let's go to version 1. The story that you're telling yourself. All of a sudden this happens, this neutral event of nothingness happens, and you say, they're losing interest. 3 days. 3 days. 3 days go by. Right? You just met them, you love them. You thought y'all had just reconnected. I don't care what timeline you put on, it's all the same. Every story that you put, no matter if it's 1 day, 1 week, 1 year, 10 years, every story that you're going to put on it that is not in alignment with who you desire to be is absolutely bullshit. Months don't care. Look at y'all. Y'all think the story changes from 3 hours to 5 months? Who decided that? Who's deciding that? Who is the God that is deciding that? That is the point of this conversation, y'all. Keep up, okay? This is the point of this conversation. Whether it's 3 minutes, 3 days, 3 fucking weeks, 3 fucking years, 30 years, I don't care. It's the same thing. That the event, the time means absolutely nothing. Right? Your attack had no effect on me. Who decided that? You feel me? I didn't think anybody was gonna catch the Escanor reference. I didn't think anybody was gonna catch the Escanor reference, right? None of it means anything. But now all that happens is that you begin to tell a story. What do you start saying? You start saying they're losing interest. They're with someone else. They're doing this. I'm not a priority. Something must be wrong with me. Here's the thing, y'all. Keep up, please. It doesn't matter if it's 3 minutes, 3 days, 3 hours, 3 weeks. It's about the story that you make about yourself. Because you could be like, no, there's a difference between 3 hours and 3 months. What's the difference? Is that in one, it might be easier to make the story about them. It might be easier to be like, oh no, I'm still God. But the other one, now it's much more difficult for you to stay in your divinity. That's the point of this, because you're still making it about them. If you were making it about you, 3 minutes, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 years would not change the fact that you are fucking love. But because you're measuring your sense of self-worth based on a fucking timeline, now all of a sudden 3 hours and 3 weeks becomes different. Why? Because it's easy to say my SP loves me, my SP loves me when it's 3 hours. But when it's 3 weeks and all of a sudden you're measuring, you're saying, oh, because it's been 3 weeks, I must not be doing something right. Think about what you're doing. Put your thinking caps on. Think about what you're doing. You're making it about them still. Come on, y'all. Come on. All right. So whatever story that you want to tell. So let me get back to this example, and then we're going to get into it. All right. So you start telling the stories. You start saying they're losing interest. But now you start making it about you. They're losing interest could be 3 hours. 3 weeks is they might be with somebody else. But then you make it about you. You say, I'm not a priority. I'm not enough. I'm doing something wrong. I'm not God enough. I need a new technique. Something's wrong. It's not working. Now you make it about you. You're not actually even reacting to the time anymore. You're not reacting to the 5 hours or the 5 weeks or the 5 months. You're reacting to what you made it mean about you. You think you're not enough because of the time. You're measuring your sense of self-worth all the time. If you're triggered, that's good. Sit in that. Sit in that, right? These are the revelation moments right here. You're not reacting to the time. You're not reacting to the time. You're reacting to what you made it mean about you. So now what do you feel? You feel anxious. You feel doubt. You feel overthinking. You feel like you're not enough. You feel like you're not doing enough. You're not reaching enough. You're not striving enough. You're not God enough. I'm not divine enough. I thought I was God. Yeah. Okay. So now let's go back to the 5 hours. Maybe you double text. Maybe you check your phone 50 times. Maybe your whole mood shifts. Maybe you look for new coaches, new videos, new books. The same event, but now you're living inside a story of I am not chosen. Not because of this situation, you have created a story about it, judged yourself based on it, and now you're living inside of this story. Because this person hasn't texted me back for 3 weeks, I am not enough. I am not worthy. All based on silence. All based on a quiet time. Version 2. Same exact event. No reply for 5 hours. But now you decide, I am someone who is deeply valued. I just am love. I'm deeply valued. And they're just one of the forms that does deeply value me. But I am deeply valued. Okay? My relationships are natural and secure. I am love, and love always flows to me. Always. Right? So what does the actual delay or the silence mean now? It can mean whatever you say it means. From that identity that I am love and love always flows to me, you'll naturally think differently. People have lives. It's fine. Everything is still aligned. Everything is still aligned. And now you can naturally begin to feel more calm, more stable. You can go about your day. Same reality, completely different world. Nothing changed externally. The only thing that changed is what you made it mean about you. It's about you. You're not reacting to them. You're reacting to what you made that person mean about you. Some of you, your entire concept of I am source is based on that person. And if they don't show up, all of a sudden, but I thought I was God. I must not be doing it right. It's never about them. It's always about you. It's always about you. Like I'm going to say this one more time, right? It was what I said yesterday. If you're measuring your divinity on another person, that should raise an alarm. If somebody does something, you're like, oh, because they did this, I'm not divine enough. I must not be God enough. I must not be doing it right. An alarm should go off to say, oh, well, maybe I'm not really making this about me. Maybe I'm still making it about them. All right. So let's keep going. Meaning is never found. It is only assigned. Meaning's never found externally. It's always assigned from you. There is no built-in meaning in reality. No event walks into your life labeled, this is rejection. That text message does not show up. Hey, I just want to talk. And all of a sudden a disclaimer shows up by it and says, this is rejection. That's you. You're the one who says that. You gave it that story. You're the one who said, I'm rejected now. All right? Nothing shows up in your life and says, this is delay. No letter of quote unquote anything. No opportunity calls you and say, hey, we decide to hire somebody else and says, this also means that you're a failure. You're the one who says that. No event walks into your life labeled failure, labeled rejection, labeled any of those things. It's us. Those labels are applied. And guess what? Most of the time, they're applied automatically. Based on what? What are they applied automatically based on? The identity that you are sitting in. All right, so Proverbs 23:7, it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. This is deeper than just thinking. We talk about the heart. What does it mean to think in your heart? What you accept is the true about, what you accept as truth about you, right? So this is speaking to identity. The heart isn't just emotion. It is the core of what you believe yourself to be. Not what you say occasionally, but what you consistently assume about yourself beneath the noise, because that assumption becomes your lens. You don't just think thoughts. You think from who you believe you are. And from that place, you perceive, you interpret, you experience, you translate reality, life accordingly. So, if in your heart you see yourself as chosen, as love, as secure, as abundant, as prosperity, as I am everything I desire to be, everything begins to align with that knowing. But if in your heart you are what? Deciding that you are lack, you are unworthy, even the best situations will be filtered through that identity. Even the best situations will be filtered through that identity. Okay? This is why change doesn't come from forcing new outcomes. It comes from shifting what you hold to be true about yourself at your core. At your core. Because whatever you're being within, you will inevitably see without. All right? So a little basic graph, okay? Looks like a little egg, right? Or a cell. So in the beginning, the gold part, we've been using gold in all of these little drawings to represent the truth of who you are, the core, right? So at every moment, you're being asked, who are you? So the core of who you are is, this is who I believe that I am. It's the core truth. Core truth. Right? Now, outside of this are beliefs and assumptions. Outside of this are thoughts and perceptions. But all of those things flow from inside out. Sometimes it might take a little while for these beliefs and assumptions and thoughts and perceptions to change. But at every moment, who am I is always being answered. You are always deciding who you are. Even when that text shows up in your unconscious and you say, fuck, bro, this shit never works out. That's how women are these days. They always want the bigger athlete. They always want somebody richer. The women are so that's yeah. When you are reacting like that in that much, you are creating an identity out of that. And then all of a sudden, what? You get quote unquote attracted to even different echo chambers of the same belief. Bitter women form communities. Bitter men form communities. And then they go off and be bitter together. Because they've chosen that identity. An identity of bitterness. The bitter identity. Okay? So you don't see reality as it is. You never see reality as it is. You see reality as you are. You see it as you are. So the same exact situation can be interpreted as loss or alignment, rejection or redirection, delay or preparation. Same event, different identity, completely different world. All right, the next part, okay? The unconscious loop that keeps us stuck. So now we're going to try to start bringing this shit together. Let's look at this loop, all right? This is a loop that a lot of people don't even see. Talked about this with a lot of y'all, but here we go. Circumstance comes in. They assign a meaning to that circumstance. Then they use that meaning to confirm who they are. Right? So you've got event, and then you've got the meaning from the event, and then you've got an identity based on that meaning. And now all of a sudden, because you have that identity, you begin to see the world through that lens. We call it confirmation bias, but confirmation bias happens long after that identity. Think about this, okay? So you've been walking around hopeful all day. Yes, yes, yes. My SP loves me. My SP loves me. So now you're hoping if I say it enough that they love me, I'll get it. I'll see it. I'll see the movement. You're like, Alex, I was doing everything right and I got movement and they texted me, whatever that means. So all of a sudden something happens and it seems like they pull away and you say, fuck, this is not working. I can never do anything right. I'm always messing up. I'm just unworthy. I'm unchosen. You've given meaning to this situation. So you're seeing this situation through that lens now. The situation's gone. It's done. But you're still looking at yourself through that meaning. So now this becomes your identity, that I'm just not chosen. And so now this is where the cognitive bias steps in. Now is when you begin to look for other evidence to confirm it. Some of you be like, well, that's just psychology. No, think about this, y'all. Science or psychology is just cutting off a piece of all that there is. So they can explain the cognitive bias and how that works based on perception, but this changes more than just your perception. This changes your entire reality. Your entire reality. The perceptual part is just the thing that we can see, that can be measured. Does that actually make sense? This is what I'm really trying to say, is that most people take science. We'll talk about things like the RAD, like the reticular activating system. We'll talk about perception. They'll be like, well, yeah, that's just what science says, though. Science doesn't say anything else. You're just reaching now. Like, no. There's a large truth. There's an infinite truth, and science is only able to prove a sliver of it. Science is the tip of the iceberg. The truth is infinite. But we think that the truth is all just not real, and science is the infinite. All right? So now all of a sudden you have this quote unquote cognitive bias, but you've also stepped into a different reality. So now if you are sitting in the knowing that you're just never chosen, guess what? You start to see life through that lens. And the eye with which I see God is the same eye with which God sees. So if I'm looking at God through the lens of I am always unchosen, then God is looking at me through the lens of I am always unchosen. And now I'm getting that same reality. That reality is just being played out in front of me. Does that make sense? Yes, Alex. All right, perfect. So event, meaning, identity, and then more of the same meaning. So the event is he didn't text back. Now the meaning of that event, we might say, is I'm not chosen. Okay? And now we create an identity. I am one who isn't chosen. And now I interpret everything through that lens. And this is how a single moment becomes a story. When I'm like, hey, can you see the story in what you're saying? Where do stories typically, they can stem from a single moment, a single experience can birth the story that you carry. And you think you've been through a lot of things that match that story, but you just picked up that story because of the meaning you gave a circumstance, and now you're looking at life through that story. Right? So here is the graph to represent what we just talked about, okay? So you have this event right here in white. The event leads you to giving it meaning, right? So the event is he didn't text back. The meaning is I am not chosen. So now all of a sudden the identity becomes I am not chosen. I'm one who isn't chosen. And now you're in a cycle because you're constantly interpreting things through that lens. So if I'm interpreting it through that lens, I'm giving it meaning again. So do you see how it becomes event, then meaning, which becomes my identity? And I'm looking at life through that lens. And so now I'm giving everything that same meaning. So I'm just circling. It becomes a tiring, exhausting cycle. Okay? Tiring, exhausting cycle. So a moment can become a story, and then your story can become your life. Your story becomes your life. All right? So Matthew 6:22, it says, the eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light. What does that actually mean? If your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light. We've talked about this scripture in different ways, but let's talk about this in a way. What would if this is all a book of consciousness, what would your eye represent? What do you use your eye for? For perception, right? So they want your eye to be single. We talk about a double-minded man being unstable, right? Eye single, double-minded man unstable. If your eye is perception, okay, if eye is perception, maybe it's third eye, sure, right? But even third eye, we can talk about that from a mystical sense, but what does it actually mean when we're talking about it just from a unity consciousness perspective? Just from okay, let me give you an example. So in mythology, there is a creature called the Cyclops. If you ever Google a Cyclops, when we think of the Cyclops, right, we'll think of the Cyclops as just having one eye. That's the trait of a Cyclops, is they have one eye, right? That's how like the cartoons depict them. But actually Google one. what you'll see is they don't just have one eye, they have all three. But these two eyes are represented as being carved out. I'm getting somewhere. I'm finna cook. Don't worry, I'm getting somewhere, right? These two eyes are depicted as being carved out. They're empty. And this one eye is open. Let's think of the task of the Cyclops. The task of the Cyclops were depicted as these goofy beings. They could barely walk, they could barely stand. But what was their purpose? Well, in certain myths, they would create the weaponry of the gods. Hades' staff and some of the spears of the different gods, Poseidon's trident, all those things, right? So the Cyclops, hear this, the Cyclops was able to get beautiful imagery from outside of this world. They were able to craft things that couldn't even be perceived in this world. However, when it came to this world, they could barely even stand. They were just ogre-like beings, very awkward beings. Okay? Let's think about this a little bit more, right? So they were so detached from this reality that they have lost the need for their eyes to see anything out there because they don't operate on. You can only see the beauty of this world. You can only see the beauty of what's in front of you. But the Cyclops can see things you can't imagine. Not only can they see things, they can craft them into their reality. They don't depend on the external world to create beautiful weaponry for the gods that they are. It's beautiful. I know, it's beautiful, okay? So the eye, let's talk about the eye. The eye is the lamp of the body. It's not speaking about sight. It's speaking about your perception. Right? So when we talk about the eye in this sense, we're talking about perception, the lens through which you interpret everything. Your eye is the meaning maker. Your perception, your eye is the meaning maker. Huh? It's the interpreter. It is the one assigning significance to every moment. And if that eye is divided, right? If you're not single focused like that ogre, like that Cyclops, keeping its mind on something greater than the external circumstances. It doesn't care what's going on because it knows who it is. It doesn't care what you think is possible because it can make what's beyond possible. All right. So if that eye is divided, constantly shifting between doubt and certainty, lack and wholeness, fear and truth, what I see out there, the circumstances versus truth, then your entire experience becomes fragmented. You don't suffer. You never suffer because of what you see. You suffer because of how you're seeing. But when your eye becomes single, when you stop splitting yourself between who you are and what you fear, and you choose one identity and remain there, everything becomes illuminated because you're finally seeing from the truth instead of distortion. Beautiful. Beautiful. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light. Remember, we talked about light yesterday. I highly advise for y'all to watch this full 7-day series, starting with yesterday. We talked about how the light doesn't work to cast out the dark. The light just is. And the dark is just, it's removed. The light just is. And the room is illuminated to reveal what it is. When you know yourself as the light, right? You are the light of the world. You are the lamp of the world. When you just know yourself as the light of God, then it does not matter what the circumstances look like. All that matters is who you are. And who you are illuminates everything. Let's go further, okay? So to have a single eye is to no longer negotiate with appearances. It's to stop letting circumstances, thoughts, or emotions, the unholy trinity. And I think day 5, we're going to talk about the unholy trinity. But it's to stop letting circumstances, thoughts, emotions pull you out of who you know yourself to be. It is the discipline. I know y'all hate that word. It is the discipline of returning again and again and again to one knowing, one identity, one center. I am. I am chosen. I am whole. I am loved. I am complete. I am that. I am him. I am. And when you remain there, your whole body, your entire experience becomes filled with light. Clarity replaces confusion. Peace replaces reaction. Power replaces doubt. Light, you don't chase light, right? It is what naturally fills your life when you stop dividing yourself and stand fully in the truth of who you are, right? I just am. I am that I am. Next, okay? Identity first and meaning follows. Most people think the work is this, right? So we're gonna start putting this together now. So for most people, they think the work is what? Something happens, then I decide what it means. Something happens, I decide what it means. Something happens, I know it's just the ego. This is why I'll constantly say, like, okay, but who are you? You'll be like, I don't know. Or you'll say, well, the ego is trying to tell me that this is what I am, but I know that's not true. I'm like, okay, but who are you? Have you decided that I am everything I desire to be? And I'm constantly walking in that identity. And if reality doesn't show that, or whatever happens, I'm just looking at that and saying that's not the truth, and I'm returning to the truth of who I am. Or have you chosen no identity and you're just walking through life, just stumbling and blaming everything on the ego? You're just out here just fumbling around, and all of a sudden you feel doubt and you say, oh, it's not me, it's the ego. But you don't even know who you are. You didn't even decide that you are anything. Well, I thought I didn't have to do anything. You're not doing anything. You're right. You're staying the exact same person. The only difference is what? Is now you have something to blame. Now you have a partner in crime. Now you and the ego are best buds, just calling yourself out. At a certain point in time, it ain't even ego anymore. It's just you. It's just a choice that you're making. I know that one probably stings a couple people. I know. Ego's not even a real thing. It doesn't even exist. It's just an idea. It's an idea. It's something that we use to explain thoughts that were programmed. But at what point do you realize, no, it's not my ego just randomly popping up and for 10 minutes venting and ranting about something I don't want to experience anymore. It's literally just me. I'm literally the only person thinking. Like, nobody comes and invades your mind until you don't have like an amoeba that crawled up your ass that's speaking through you like fucking animorphs. You don't have one of those things. It's just you in your mind talking shit about yourself, and they say, no, it's the ego. I can still get what I want. Ridiculous. It's just you. All right? It's just you. But guess what? If you become present and you decide who you are and you live from that presence, I guarantee you that everything will start to change. The stories that you tell about yourself will change. The kindness that you show to yourself will change. The ego is a good idea so you can understand the difference between the truth and the illusion. But at a certain point, if you're just constantly like, I just know this is ego, at a certain point, it just becomes another technique that keeps you from actually living life. Instead of living life, you're just narrating thoughts all day. I digress. All right. So now, most people think the work is this, right? So most people say what? Something happens, then I decide what it means. But even that is reactive. Even that is reactive. You're still waiting for the world to move first before you decide who you are. Okay? But what is the deeper truth? The deeper truth is you don't wait for events to define meaning. You don't have to wait for the event to define meaning. You decide who you are, and meaning flows from that. Okay? So this is what I mean. Which one feels more empowering? You're walking through life and a situation happens, an unexpected bill. That unexpected bill comes and it shows up and you say, fuck. And then you catch yourself and you say, no, I am who I desire to be. Or to decide right now and to be present in the knowing that I am what I desire to be. I am prosperity. It all flows to me. Everything must unfold towards prosperity no matter what it looks like. And then the bill shows up and you're already in the knowing of who you are. And you can see that there's a reaction that's coming up, but you're present and you say, you know what? This doesn't have to mean anything. It's going to be handled. I'm still what I desire to be. So we're shifting from reactive to proactive. This is making it about you is about becoming proactive. You're no longer at the mercy of events. You're the creator. Being a creator is being proactive, right? Being a creator is being proactive. You're actively creating. So you decide right now, I am what I desire to be. And now I maintain that knowing of who I am. I'm stacking these moments together. I'm stringing these moments together. We're not going back to the old identity. And when things show up, I'm already in the knowing of who I am. I'm less prone to react. This is why I'll say your presence is your shield. Your presence is your shield. So now instead of the situation slapping me and I'm like, oh, fuck, that's just ego. And I got to calm it, but I don't have to because it doesn't create. And now you're just sitting there. There's your emotions are flaring, thoughts flaring, circumstance flaring. And now you're in your mind battling like, oh, it's just ego. It's just ego. Oh, my God. It's a lot. It's exhausting. It just becomes another unnecessary process. Simply decide who you are. Flow through life from that knowing and allow life to unfold through you. This is how divine you are. This is how beautiful you are. This is how like when we say flow through life, this is all it means. Simply flow through life. Flow through life from the knowing that you are already that which you desire to be. Whew. You're already that which you desire to be. All right? So now, okay. So the deeper truth was what? We don't have to wait for events to define meaning. We can decide who we are and meaning flows from that. Before anything happens, before the text, before the circumstance, before the bill, before the delay, before the meeting tonight, before you jump on the Zoom call with your coworkers, before you clock into work, before you get out your bed, before you walk in the gym. What feels more empowering? I will have a good workout because I'm everything I desire to be, and every step that I take is going to lead me to what I desire, even if I end up getting busy and not going. Every step leads me to what I desire. Or getting out of the gym and be like, fuck, bro, it's not working. I don't know if nothing's working out. Oh, no, I'm in shape. No, everything is working out for me. You will always feel more empowered when you take that proactive approach. This is why I'll always reference to Abraham Hicks. Something that stuck to me was when she spoke about segment intending. And what she was saying was in a different way than this, right? But it was set your intention before you go into the situation. Because most people, they get out of the work meeting. Because this is exactly what we're talking about, okay? So most people, they have the event. The event happens, which is the work meeting. They get out of it and they say, bro, everybody's a fucking idiot in here. All these motherfuckers are idiots. I can't fucking stand them. We never get shit done, right? So now you've given meaning to that situation. Now it's I am a person who's always in shitty ass meetings, right? That can be an identity too. That can be a fucking identity too. And so now all of a sudden you accept that identity and you're looking at life through that lens. So now the next meeting comes and you've already got your expectation based on the last one and you're looking at this one the same way. Instead of just deciding everything is, I am who I desire to be, everything flows perfectly. Before you walk into me, you can say, no matter how it looks or turns out, everything will work out perfectly. And then you can just flow through it. You can be present through it. So now you're less reactive. You're more stable. You're more calm. What else does this do? I'm going to drop a gem. What else does this do? A lot of you are looking for something to trust in this reality creation space. You want a success story you can trust. You want to hear what somebody else is doing. You want to hear what they're doing, right? When you begin to make every segment of your life intentional, you can actually start to build trust with yourself. Because now you'll start to see those intentions playing out. Because you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go work out and I'm going to have enough time when I get out of the workout to chill and relax before that next meeting. And what's going to happen is you're going to set that intention. You're going to decide that, and you're going to be present. You're going to be doing your workout. You're going to get into the zone, and then you're going to stay too long. And then you're going to say, fuck, I stayed too long. I'm not going to have time to relax. And then all of a sudden, the thing that you have to do is going to get pushed back. And you're going to say, oh, what the fuck? Even if it didn't look the way I thought it was going to look, it still was perfect. Now, all of a sudden, you start depending on what the circumstances show you less. And you start depending on what you know to be true more. And you're no longer saying things like, well, I was getting movement, because you know that that means nothing. The only thing that matters is what you say. It wasn't movement at all. It was just you saying right now that there was movement. Nothing stopped right now. It's just you saying that there was movement and now there's nothing. You are when you decide that you are who you desire to be, you're in that reality right now. Right now, you're in that reality. You're in it. You are that reality. The timeline flows through you. You're not switching through timelines left and right on some parallel universe. When we think parallel, you think of a linear timeline here, another one 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 here. No, you just are the timeline. They're shifting within you. You decide, I am who I desire to be. You're in that timeline. That timeline is you. It might look the same, but it ain't. When you decide it's going to work out, it might look the same, but it won't. It's not the same. When I say, but it won't, I'm not saying, but it won't work out. I'm saying, but it won't be the same. It might look like it's not going to work out, but it will work out is what I'm saying. All right, got to clear that up before somebody is in the comments blinking extra hard over there. All right, so before anything happens, before the text, before the delay, before the circumstance, you get to choose to say, I am chosen, I am secure, I am supported, I am abundant. Not because of what you see, but because of what you decide. Now, when you've made that choice, something happens. And instead of asking, what does this mean about me? There's no question, because you've already answered it. You don't interpret from uncertainty anymore. I am love, so of course this must mean nothing. Well, I am love, so this has nothing to do with me. It just means it's been 2 hours. Okay? You don't interpret from uncertainty anymore. You see everything through the lens of, I already know who I am. Is that not empowering? To look at life and see it through the lens of, I already know who I am. I'm already what I desire to be. Isn't that empowering? Isn't that what you're looking for? So now, silence doesn't mean rejection, because you're not someone who gets rejected. Now, delay doesn't mean failure, because you're not someone who fails. Now, movement doesn't determine your identity. Your identity determines what movement means. So the shift is from reactive to proactive. We go from event to giving the event meaning and saying, oh, this is what it means about me, to identity. And we flip that all the way around. We choose identity, and then we give meaning to whatever event from that identity. You are walking around as the operant power now. You are observing life. That's all you're ever doing, is deciding who you are, flowing through life. And as things show up, you're just giving them meaning based on the identity that you chose. That's it. Things are showing up and you're just saying, it's working out. Yeah, that's me. That's cool. That's cool. I want more of that. Ooh, cool. I want less of that. Fuck that. You know, but I know who I am, right? This is all you're doing, is you're just flowing through life from the knowing of who you are, and things are showing up and just knocking them shits out. That's it. Such is life. What else is life? All right? So now this is where everything changes. Because when you choose your identity first, you're not trying to stay stable. You're not sitting out here and just bracing for impact. You're not bracing for impact from the events. Please don't, right? Now, you're stable, and the world is forced to move around that. The world moves around your stability. When you make it about you, life can rearrange around you. Life can rearrange around you, right? Stop waiting for life to tell you who you are. Decide who you are and let life confirm it. Life is your secretary, okay? You're not the, and God's not waiting in your SP's text. God is waiting for you to decide who you are right now, right? So here we go. Reality is symbolic. Reality is not literal. It is symbolic. So, quote from Neville Goddard, it says, the world is but a mirror reflecting the state of your consciousness. What does this mean? You're never truly encountering a fixed, objective reality. You are encountering a reflection of how you are being. What you see, it ain't separate from you. It is shaped by the identity you occupy from this point forward. Now some of y'all will be like, well, damn, did I create this and that from this point forward? From this point forward. From this point forward. All right? If you feel unseen, the world tends to ignore you, doesn't it? When you decide, when your identity is one of, you know what, I'm just unseen. People just don't fucking see me. Oh my God, we had a great conversation on the seen and not seen yesterday. I thought it was really, really productive. But if you decide that you are unseen, the world seems to ignore you. If you decide that you are chosen, the world begins to meet you that way because your consciousness shifted. And the mirror had no choice but to reflect it. So the real work isn't in trying to rearrange the mirror. It is in becoming aware of what you're holding within. Becoming aware of what you're holding within. Because the mirror has no agenda of its own. No agenda of its own. Reality, God, it doesn't judge. It doesn't decide. God doesn't decide. Is that a crazy thing to say? When I say that, do y'all understand what I'm saying? God is reality. God is being itself, right? God doesn't decide. It almost seems blasphemous. God just is. We can't say God just is and God decides in the same. That is, which one is it? God just is, right? God just is. So the real work isn't in trying to rearrange the mirror. It's becoming aware of what you're holding within. What if instead of you being constantly aware of if they text you back or if they were doing whatever, if they were doing this, what if your only job was to be aware of who you are? Just as your only job is to be aware of who you are. I am that I am. I am whatever I decide that I am right now in the immediacy of this present moment. That's it. That's it. The mirror has no agenda of its own. It doesn't judge. It doesn't decide. It only reflects. When you understand that, you can stop fighting appearances and just do what? Refine your state of being. The only thing for you to do is refine your state of being. You ask, who am I being right now that is producing this reflection? Who am I being right now? And from there, you can reclaim your power by what? Being the version of yourself that naturally sees a different world staring back. Of course, this will go away. I'm prosperity. I'm love. Of course, things work out for me. I am love. Beautiful. What you experience isn't happening to you. It is reflecting through you. Every event is neutral until your awareness touches it and gives it form. This is why two people can live in the same world and experience completely different realities. Because they're not living in the same meaning. All right, now we're almost done. We got one more section. All right, now let's integrate all this. The collapse of victimhood. The collapse of victimhood, okay? So, if meaning comes from you, then nothing has ever been against you. If meaning comes from you, nothing has ever been against you, only shaped by you. Think about this, right? Sit with this. Nothing has ever been against you. You've seen something, it's shown up, right? That empty blank text message, right? The no response, it showed up. That was a situation, it was a circumstance. It was not against you, it was just what it evolved into was shaped by who you are being right now. There's beauty in the pain too. Painful is simply the human emotion. It's your humanity in that moment experiencing life. But you still get to choose your identity, which shapes what that moment evolves into. What that circumstance evolves into. It's shaped by your identity. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right? Nothing hurts you without your interpretation. Nothing blocked you without your meaning. Nothing denied you without your agreement. Okay? So Romans 8:28, it says, all things work together for good to them that love God. I mean, we can't get more literal than that. All things work together for good to them that love God. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right. So what this is pointing to, all things work together for good for them that love God, right? It's a shift in perception. What does it actually mean to love God? What does it mean to love God? Remember, life and death are in the power of the tongue, and those that love it will eat its fruit, right? Those that love the law, love the Lord, love God. What is God? You are God, right? So to love God, let's even translate this directly, okay? Because love is, okay, here we go. Love is all that there is, right? Love is all that there is. What would it look like to unconditionally love yourself? Take a second and think about this. Unconditionally love yourself. If love is all that there is and you are all that there is, to unconditionally love yourself is to unconditionally be aware of yourself as everything that you desire to be, no matter what. It's more than putting yourself first. It's putting yourself on the pedestal alone. To unconditionally love yourself as awareness or source. To love yourself as source. The unconditional love of source towards you is to unconditionally accept the truth of who you are, that you are everything, no matter what. I am that I am, no matter what, is a declaration of unconditional love. I view myself the same eye with which I see God as the eye with which God sees. You are looking as God. The way that you see yourself is the way that God sees you. What's the paradox? This is a concession. There is no you and God. There is only God looking at itself. To unconditionally love God, or to quote unquote unconditionally love yourself, is to constantly be aware in the knowing that you are everything you desire to be unconditionally, no matter what the circumstance looks like, no matter what the thought shows up, no matter what the feeling is. This is unconditional love. Love is the binding of the universe. Love is everything. It's all love. Not as a feeling. Love is just what you are. So if all versions of you exist within you as love, you are already everything you desire to be. To accept that unconditionally is to unconditionally love the truth of who you are. I am the truth. I am the truth. This is what Jesus was saying, right? I am the truth. He's pointing to you. You are the truth. To unconditionally love the truth. To love what you really are. This is unconditional love. To walk around in the acceptance that you are everything you desire to be no matter what. This is unconditional love. That's all it is. To be aware of your... I can't say this enough because it's profound, but I'm trying to make sure that I'm hitting as many people as possible with this statement. Okay? So I know it could sound... Sometimes when I do this, it sounds redundant. I'm trying to say it in different ways, right? But to know yourself as everything is unconditional love. When we say love yourself, put yourself first, this is what it means. Know yourself as everything you desire to be. Know yourself as everything right now in this divine moment, no matter what. Okay? So to love God is to trust the source within you, to recognize your awareness isn't separate from the intelligence moving life itself. From this place of unconditional love and acceptance of the truth of who you are, nothing is against you. Okay? From the place of unconditional love and acceptance of the truth of who you are, nothing can be against you. It's impossible. You can't look at anything as against you when you have when you're truly unconditionally loving yourself, when you're unconditionally accepting the truth that you are everything that you desire to be right now. You probably won't even have time to be distracted by circumstances. Every event, no matter how it appears, becomes something that can be seen as aligning, refining, or redirecting you into deeper truth because you are the one assigning meaning from a place of trust instead of fear. When you live from that knowing, challenges no longer define you. Delays, they can't discourage you. Even what once felt like loss begins to carry a different weight as something that shaped you. Everything begins to work together for good because you stop interpreting life as happening to you and started seeing it as something that is always moving in harmony with who you choose to be. To love God is to trust the source within you, which means everything can be seen as working for you because you are the one assigning the meaning. Most people try to change meaning to feel better, but your identity determines your meaning automatically. So why would you not decide right now who you are and just live from that? When we say go to the end and stay there, this is what it means. I am everything I desire to be. That's it. Are you aware of that right now? What about right now? Stay there. What about right now? What about when a circumstance shows up? Are you still aware that you are everything that you desire to be right now? So instead of fighting interpretations, return to who am I being right now? Because if you are chosen, everything confirms it. If you are secure, everything stabilizes. If you are loved, everything reflects it. You don't have to force any kind of meaning. It flows naturally from who your divine ass is. You are the divinest of asses. Okay? So the shift is this. When you decide who you are, now instead of constantly trying to interpret life and analyze life, you're simply naming life. Instead of constantly analyzing and fighting life, you are just flowing in your identity, in the knowing of who you are, naming life. And whatever you name it, becomes your experience of it. This is the metaphysical story of Adam being given what? Dominion to name the animals, because this is what you're doing. You are constantly naming life. Adam representing the conscious mind, Eve, the quote unquote subconscious, the masculine, the feminine aspects, whatever you want to call it, right? But the point of the conscious within this story was that Adam had full dominion. He could name the animals whatever he wanted. You have full dominion to name the circumstance whatever you want, from the knowing that you are everything you desire to be. Remember, in the garden, there was absolute unity with Source. They knew themselves as Source. Metaphysically, what it meant was you unconditionally love the truth of who you are. I'm unconditionally in the knowing that I am everything I desire to be. But then they ate from the fruit, and it represent not a falling into sin, but a falling into forgetfulness. They forgot that they were in unity in that beautiful garden with Source. And so they fell out the garden. They were quote unquote cast out. You know, they think that they have to worship and climb and do all these things to get back right. And they struggle and they fight on their own, when the truth is that you've never been separate from Source. You've always been naming the situation. Even you naming, I need to struggle to get there, is you creating the next frame of reality and then walking into it. But you can immediately reach that level of enlightenment, which is just awakening right now to the truth that you are everything you desire to be right now. You just are it. Walk through life in the knowing of who you are, with that unconditional love for the Source that you are, and then name reality like your divine ass is supposed to be doing. Right? Whatever you name it becomes your experience of it. Whatever you name life becomes your experience of life. Okay? I am that I am no matter what. So I had a couple reflection questions I was going to end this one with, but because I kind of went over time and because of the technical difficulties, I'm going to post these in the chat, or I'll post these in the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, please join. It's in the link tree. It's free. It's all kinds of things going on in there, right? But yeah, I'll post these in the Discord. And then in closing, okay, nothing in your life has ever had meaning on its own. You gave it meaning. And because of that, you can give it a new meaning right now. Right? You can give everything a new meaning right now. I am that I am, no matter what. I got you, Lauren. Got you. I got you. I got you, goddess. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We shall talk soon. Peace.